Time to talk about the AFC North this time. Pumped to get into this division. It's going to be a very competitive one this year. Like we did all the other division previews, we're going to be talking about a hot take for each division. We're going to be giving record predictions at the end of the show. Why are you guys laughing? You didn't get a hot take ready again? This is like a regular thing now. Every time we have popped on the recording, you guys don't have the hot take ready. Well, while I'm doing the intro, get your hot take ready in your head. Make it Steelers themed. That's an easy hot take this year for you guys. But then we're also going to talk about our breakout player, like I said, and we're going to reveal our record predictions. And I have the list of who won last year's competition. This is a competition, so who can be the most accurate. So please leave your predictions in the comment section below. I am with the J and the T in the MJT. Joe, Tony, in order. This is Mike, Joe, Tony. You guys look really ready for the hot take segment that opens every single show. All of them.
Hot take alert.
Yeah, I really didn't come prepared for this again. Let's see.
You want me to throw mine out there first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Let me find it first.
Me and Tony and the
Not
hot
either.
takes are not hot.
Yeah.
How about this hot take?
uh,
Only one team in this division makes the playoffs.
Yikes.
I mean,
that's a hot take.
I
but
don't
I'm
have
I'm
that-
not buying it.
I don't have that predicted, but I have that like
I do.
very likely of happening.
I do.
Tony, you can't be giving
I
away
have
spoilers.
that very close to happening in my predictions, like as close as it gets to only one team in this division making the playoffs. Just 'cause I think they're gonna knock each other around so much.
Yep.
They're gonna beat each other up. They're gonna injure each other. They're gonna give each other losses that they cannot afford in the AFC wildcard race this year. It's gonna be a bloodbath.
See, I have two teams making it, so I can't go with that one.
So the second place.
You can't go with that one also because I just took it. That's also why you can't go with that one.
But I could steal it.
the team that I have finishing at 11-6 in second place in this division misses the playoffs as the 8th seed.
Holy, that's hot.
Yeah.
11-6, they missed the playoffs.
Yep.
I don't think I've seen that in my life.
1 year it happened when the year Favre was on the Jets.
Oh.
The Patriots were 11-5 and missed the playoffs.
Ryan Mallett season.
That was the Castle year. That was the year Brady
Ryan Mallett. What am I saying?
hurt his knee, and I think the Dolphins made it like the final week. So it was like Dolphins.
You got anything, Joe? Looks like you've been thinking hard over there. I see smoke coming out of your ears.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me to come up, but I would think that the Browns suck again.
That's the hot take.
Oh, shit.
That's the
Well,
hot take.
I think the
Browns
U.S.
stink.
Was it the USA Today that put the Browns at the top of this division?
There's a chance.
There's a couple people that have the Browns win this division, and if you guys have it, then I'm gonna whoop your butt right here live on TV.
Well, last year,
Like maybe we need to rethink our friendship if you have the Browns.
we specifically said that the Browns on paper should be really good, but there's just something smelly about them.
2 years ago, Tony had the Browns win the Super Bowl.
We're gonna bring that up forever. That was Baker Mayfield too. Tampa Bay winning it this year, Tony.
You know what? I'm moving Cincinnati to last place and Cleveland to first place.
Oh, here we go. On the spot. On the spot. Let's get into this. Let's stick with the Browns. Let's talk about the Browns. Obviously, they're getting Deshaun Watson back, who better be improved or they're fucked. Retaining David Njoku was a huge move, in my opinion. I think Elijah Moore is going to explode this year out of the slot, and they're using him in the backfield. I'm excited about that. Their secondary has some question marks. I'll go over that a little bit more as we talk here, but Tony, I'll let you start off. You've been up and down on the Browns roller coaster the last couple of years. How are you feeling this year?
The crazy thing is like if I would have done this maybe like 4 days earlier, I probably would have had the Browns finishing first in the division.
Oh,
like
boy.
when you were saying that, because I started reading all of that Browns hype, right? Where it's like, oh, they have good members on the offensive line, and Deshaun Watson can't be that bad, and
I should just put this down and just walk on.
like
it.
has all the playmakers and everything. Like I just was buying into the Browns offseason hype again, and I found myself as I was going back through, and I'm like, wait, am I really gonna have them? You know, like going 4-2 in a division that's this tough. Am I really gonna have them like going and winning some of these like really like they have some really big time road games this year, and I'm like, are they gonna? And they should do it. They have a $230 million QB that I kind of always go back to this point, and this is when when I met you guys, there was this thing that Mike always used to do, like Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback on a 4-12 football team. Like, I don't care how good how good your numbers are. If your team is 4-12, you can't be top 5. Like, you just can't. So, is there a world in which everything works out perfectly and he executes this Kevin Stefanski offense the way that Baker Mayfield did it, and they were 10-6 that year and won a playoff game?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it could happen. But I just found myself going, nah, I don't buy it. Now, the one thing that I will say is, can the defense be better? They've invested a lot on the defensive line. I believe the new coordinator is Jim Schwartz, the guy I really like. If that defense can be good, and when I say good, like 15, like 13, 15, I will be wrong about this prediction.
I was about to pass it to Joe because I was going to ask you, Joe, why are you so low on the Browns? Because on paper, I mean, there's no holes. The only thing you really can say is the Browns be the Browns. I mean, that's really all you can say.
Browns be the Browns.
Yeah.
and if Jim Schwartz, I do like him, Tony.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, but he runs a wide 9, so you're gonna put the defensive ends a little bit farther out, so there might be getting to the quarterback. It opens up a little bit more running game for other teams, but a lot of teams went to the wide 9 a couple years ago. I think they've all moved away from it again, but that's the old school. Hey, let's see what Myles Garrett can get that quarterback. And they who's the other guy they brought in from Minnesota?
They brought in Delvin Tomlinson, and then they drafted Siaki Ika, who's a monster.
Traded for Zadarius Smith also.
There he goes.
Yeah.
Zadarius Smith.
So they have up front probably the best front that they've had in a while. I just think it could be.
But they've had a defense. Their
That's
defense
the biggest thing.
Hasn't been bad. Like, that's the thing about the Browns is I go, okay, their defense is good, but it's a beatable defense. Like, you have a good defense, but it's beatable. Like, there's not, like, you can't pinpoint what's bad with it. It's just like, you get beat. Like,
it's been the secondary, honestly. The secondary has been up and down. They've tried a bunch of different guys out. Denzel Ward obviously got the extension. Not that I don't think Denzel Ward's a good corner. I think he's like a top end cornerback too. I'd never have thought that he should be getting CB1 money and that they should put all their eggs in his basket as their CB1. A big thing for them, they need breakouts on defense from Grant Delpit and Greg Newsome. They need those two guys to step up. And even shout out to the kid that held Mike Williams and got the Browns almost a miracle win over us, Martin Emerson Jr., who could also help them out a little bit in the depth department. But they need Grant Delpit and Greg Newsome to be shut down, because what's happening is teams are just getting the ball out before that pass rush can get there and really do what it can do. And yeah, they added Zadarius Smith, but that's not going to matter if Denzel Ward and Grant Delpit and Greg Newsome, they're all just getting cooked outside. It's not going to matter at all. That's why it's hard, because it's like this team on paper is loaded. Like, that's the only weakness they have, maybe, is the secondary. These guys all can be good players. They all are high potential players. So it's tough. It's tough. In this division, too, it's tough. And I think Deshaun Watson's going to be better this year. And I think they've got the weapons in the offense to even cover up any kind of issues he may, come
And what
across.
do you think about their offense? What do you think about their offensive line?
I think the offensive line's still great. They still got Wyatt Teller. They still got Joel Bitonio, Jedrick Wills, Jack Conklin. I mean, those guys are all pros. They haven't been healthy. That's the biggest thing. But those guys are all pro level offensive linemen. I mean, they're going to be one of the best offensive linemen in the league if they're all healthy. And Nick Chubb is still going to carry a lot.
They might have gotten the steal too in DeJuan Jones, right? For the dude
he's
from Ohio
behind
State,
Jack,
who is a beast. Like, he is.
And that was a good pick, because Jack Conklin can't stay on the damn field. He can't.
Either way, you're not changing my opinion on the Browns.
I know, it's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, who do you think's going to be better this year, Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson?
Oh, Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
But that's not saying much.
I know it's not saying much, but
It's just because he's so relaxed.
it's tough.
The massage joke.
And I think you were right, Tony. You were right about Watson on the top 5 thing. I was being a little too nice to him there on the top 5 thing back in the day. But yeah, it's interesting. They also
not going to be any happy endings in Cleveland this year.
I don't know how to feel about the Browns. I don't. I want to.
And that's the thing. Like you could be high, you could be low on them, and you could. We'll find out at the end of the season. The Browns on paper have a good team.
Yeah.
But look at their division, and you're like, everybody else in that.
Yeah.
And then I like everybody else's defense better than I like the Browns' defense. So you could be like, the Browns have a good defense. Yeah, but it's still probably the fourth best defense in their division.
And your opinion reasonably on the Browns, as an NFL fan can be, and kids, cover your ears. Your opinion could simply be, fuck that guy.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that for me.
But let's go to a team that I actually respect a lot. Let's go to a team that we respect a lot. This Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's talk about how they did this offseason. They didn't really add a ton. I think, Allen Robinson sneakily joining their receiver core as their third receiver. On defense, they're getting TJ Watt back. I know he was in and out of lineup last year. Keanu Benton. Steal the draft, maybe. That's going to be fun to watch on the inside with Cam Hayward, who's going to be back, of course, for the Steelers. They picked up Patrick Peterson, a little bit of veteran experience to put into a young secondary that's going to be led, and they're going to rely on Joey Porter to be their CB1, I think, this year. That's interesting. What's your thoughts, Tony, on the Steelers? Let it loose.
Just a really deep, great football team that is hinging on Kenny Pickett making a year 2 leap, right? If we put in a veteran quarterback that we knew was stable, I think that we would all have the Steelers, and maybe we do, but sort of the national conversation that I see more would be a lot more talk about the Steelers, but everybody's a little hesitant to really push all in because we don't know if Kenny Pickett is going to be able to take them over that hump, win the close games against the Bengals and the Ravens and even the Browns, in their division and winning those games. So I look at this team where I go, they're doing all of the right things. The offensive line's been a problem. Before we burn out Najee Harris, let's go put some resources into this thing right here. We need to get more help for TJ. We're going to go get some more interior. Cam Hayward's still great. He's still getting pressure in year 12 or 13 or whatever he is in the league. They keep Highsmith. So the resources that are there on defense, you bolster the offensive line. You said Allen Robinson, wide receiver 3. Calvin Austin is their wide receiver 3.
They're 2, yes.
Well, they've always been able to just draft wide receivers and plug them in, and just being able. It's great. I'm really high on the Steelers this year, and like you said, Tony, there's a lot of people in the national media that want to, but not pushing it all the way in. Well, here's all my damn chips. I'm pushing them in. I like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I told you guys in mini camp that I had the Steelers going to the Super Bowl. I don't know if I'm going to stick with that, but I told you that they were one of the teams. So I've been on it, and we've been talking about how they did the final stretch of last year. And Mike Tomlin is just one hell of a coach. And they went out there. They realized they had some young players last year, and they went out there and just built around them. They didn't bring in no big name guys this year that you would be like, oh, that's a game like that. No, they brought in these solid, small, little name guys that are great players. They built that offensive line back up, and they're going to go out there and they're going to play Pittsburgh Steelers ball, which is hit you hard and run the ball and win some games. And that's what I think about the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're just hard-hitting, no-nonsense team with a great head coach that's going to fight every time they're on that field and give you everything they have, because they might not win the game, but you're going to remember when you play the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're going to hurt you for a while. But Pittsburgh Steelers are I like there's a lot of question marks about Kenny Pickett, right? But every year there seems to be a second-year quarterback that takes that leap. Kenny Pickett could be that guy.
And he's going to get some help from a second-year wide receiver as well. Howell. That's going to take a leap. Sam Howell under the breath there. I bet you the mic picked that up clearly.
Desmond Ridder.
No, don't start with the Desmond Ridder talk. I'm with you guys. I think the biggest things that hold me back, the offensive line, and I know they got Broderick Jones in there. He is a rookie playing left tackle. I'm not even sure if he's going to open up week 1 still, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to lean on him. And then the secondary and just pass coverage in general, the linebackers too.
Well, who's the starting cornerbacks?
It's Joey Porter Jr.
And?
DeMonte Casey.
Yeah.
And who's the backup?
Trey Norwood. Keanu Neal, Levi Wallace.
So I think one of the interesting things was I was listening to
Patrick Peterson.
Yeah, I was going to say Peterson's there, right?
I listened to Pat
I don't really
P.
trust Pat P, though.
on-
I like Levi Wallace.
He was on the Greenlight podcast, and he said one of the things that attracted him to Pittsburgh was Coach Tomlin said, hey, how would you like to have sort of that Charles Woodson transition towards the end of your career where we maybe play you in the slot, we play you at safety, and he's like, oh, I'm all in. He's like, because he's going to get to learn and study and challenge himself all over the field, and he's not going to be asked to just say, hey, line up against the number one. Like, they're going to find ways to put him in advantageous spots to try and create plays, mismatches, and turnovers against lesser players. I think that's a big bonus for Patrick Peterson to not say like, hey, you're going to go lock up with number one. We're going to let you maybe cover a rookie that might be the number one option on this, and you're going to bait him into thinking he's open, and you're going to get an interception.
Yeah, so we'll see. And if Joey Porter can just hit the ground running, they got enough game records to piece it together because Minka is still there, obviously. Yeah. And TJ Watt is a game record himself. Cameron Hayward's a game record. People don't even know that Larry Ogunjobi's on this team. And he's his own monster. So I was just so sad about the Corey Trice news. I didn't think he was going to just jump in there and be a beast immediately. But I'd love to see Corey Trice in this depth chart right now.
Yeah, it would be.
Mike, can you mention who their second tight end is? I'm not even talking about Pat. I'm talking about, can you just tell me who their second option is at tight end?
Zach Gentry or Connor Hayward?
Tight end.
Darnell Washington? Yeah,
There you go.
Darnell Washington's right now listed as the fourth.
Yeah.
So that's kind of scary.
Well, depth chart or in preseason, I don't know which one you're looking at.
It's
but if
ESPN,
you watch
so.
anything from camp, that is a guy that they're just throwing it up to. Because how tall is he?
Yeah, I mean, he's 6'9" or something.
Yeah,
he's crazy. I think also he's a guy that can not pass protect, but when they come in and they do these heavy sets with a lot of tight ends on the field, they can use him as a tackle for run blocking for Najee.
I think that's the interesting thing, and his impact in year one is putting him out there in a 12 package where you're getting him and Freiermuth or him and Gentry. Like, Gentry's not small either. I think Gentry's like 6'6" or 6'7".
Huge.
Like, he's a giant big body. So they're going to be able to smash people, and then as soon as you do that, they're going to be able to take shots where you can win jump balls or win with speed down the field with Calvin Austin.
Pittsburgh likes to make games shorter.
Yeah.
And so that's running the ball, taking long drives. Like, Kenny Pickett doesn't have to go out there and throw a 70-yard touchdown. He needs to go out there and do a 12-yard drive that eats up 8 minutes of the clock while their defense comes out and shuts them down the next play.
Yeah, and they make every single offense play 3-down series. 3-down series. You ain't going to get no easy stuff on us. Shout out to Braden Fajoko. Hope you have fun in Pittsburgh this year. He's probably going to have a blast on this team. And then also, one question before we move on. I know this isn't a fantasy football show. What's your guys' thoughts on Najee? What's your guys' thoughts? What's happening with Najee this year? Because we saw the bright spots rookie season. All of that seems to be wiped after last year, and now he's got a fresh start. What do you think about Najee, Tony?
Best year of his career.
Think so?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a monster season for him.
What do you think, Joe?
I'm all in on Najee too.
Najee
Unless
Harris.
you're in my fantasy league, like we said on many times.
He's fallen.
Najee. Oh, you don't want Najee. You don't want any part of him.
I mean, think about it. Brees Hall's fantasy values ruined. We've seen multiple first-round running backs have drama, like Jacobs and Jonathan Taylor and all these guys. Like, well, you got to start circling some names and figuring out who's going to fucking play running back this year in your fantasy lineups.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I do think that like he's creeping up to, and by the time we start really getting into our drafts, that holiday weekend there, he's going to be going around somewhere between 10 and 16.
I hope that the receiving upside for him holds. He had a lot of receptions his rookie year. That was very exciting.
I don't think that's repeatable because of the dump offs, right?
Yeah,
like Kenny should be able to not be so panicked.
Not on the same level, I will say, but I don't want it to completely disappear.
Well, I mean,
also.
like Matt Canada.
Jalen Warren is on this.
Matt Canada, you got to get it together, bro. I'm tired of hearing about this offensive coordinator and the promise he has, and we're just not seeing it.
All right, we're going to Cincinnati now, guys. Let's
Something
talk
about Canada and promises.
Who day?
I don't know. I don't know where you're going with that one.
I don't know either. I just wanted to throw that out there.
I was going to start singing Promises, Promises. Let's go.
They're
They have a microphone.
They're doing their old people shit over there, guys. Don't worry about them. Anyways, to the Bengals here. A lot of mixed feelings I've seen on social media about the Bengals and how good or bad they'll be this year. But they're trying to run it back with this crazy passing attack, of course. They're getting Joe Mixon back. I think that was massive, something that we didn't know for sure if it was going to happen or not when the season ended. I think the offensive line should be better. I'm just still so worried about the depth of the O-line. It feels like every single year this team just lacks in depth on that, and that's part of the football field. And then you look in the defense. They're going super young in the secondary and relying on this pass rush to really dominate. I have my own feelings about this defense, but I'll let you guys go ahead and start talking, and I'll chime in off what you say. Tony, thoughts on the Bengals? Are you on board again?
I am. I'm on board again. Dax Hill is he's the breakout player in this. And then another Michigan guy, and I get it, but a safety who's that big and that fast. I think that they did a smart thing, drafted him a year early when they knew Bell and Bates were going to be gone. The other guy that I saw that looked intriguing out there was Jordan Battle. And he was out there getting more of that strong safety look, where he's out there just hitting people super hard. So I think that there's certain potential there. Obviously, you don't have the veteran stuff. I'm not that familiar with who's playing cornerback for them.
Want to fill in? Chidobe Awuzie and Cameron Taylor-Britt and Mike Hilton. DJ Turner maybe get some action too.
Yeah, DJ.
They let Eli Apple, their best corner, just go on over to Miami.
Yeah. Well, DJ Turner, another Michigan guy, so very happy and hope that he plays well. I think I do have concerns too, about the defense. But if we're assuming 17 games of health for Joe Burrow, the offense is absolutely loaded, right? You get Irv Smith. He could do what Hayden Hurst can do. Just got to stay healthy. I just want one healthy season from Irv Smith Jr. Just one.
And you know what's crazy?
Yeah, it would be nice.
If he was healthy this year, he's going to be one of the better tight ends, receiving at least.
Yeah, just for him personally, as a human being and a young man who's dedicated his life to football, could he just have one 17-game season?
I've been rooting for him since he got drafted.
Too. Come on.
But, Tony, haven't you always had question marks about the Bengals? Even the last couple of years, even when they went to the Super Bowl, we questioned their defense, but they continue to just play good. They're play up. And that defense just surprises you. Even when Eli Apple
for sure. I think Lou Anarumo's the most underrated coach in football because he's got a tough name to say, and Cincinnati's not an attractive market. But if you watch every time they need to make a second half adjustment or whatever, they come out in the second half, they take the information. I think that comes with adaptable players too, not having huge egos like Hendrickson and Hubbard. Yeah. But they did the same thing this year where they bring in Miles Murphy. They're not going to expect a lot from him, but if they can get 15 pressures and 3.5 sacks, that'll be huge for them.
Yeah, that's where I kind of have my reservations is the defense side of the ball. Can they make those same adjustments with some of the stars they had before? I know you're high on Dax Hill, Tony, and I'm excited for Dax Hill as well, but we're going to see if he can match Jesse Bates, who, borderline all-pro each year. This dude's a baller, and, that's a big hole to fill for Dax Hill. Even if he does, there's still some question marks at corner, still some question marks out the slot. I don't know if I know Logan Wilson's their starting linebacker, but after that they got Jermaine Pratt. It's kind of thin there as well. They're kind of similarly built to the Browns. They need Cam Taylor-Britt to break out. They need Jordan Battle maybe to break out or DJ Turner in their secondary, and they need the defensive line to dominate. And there's potential there. They got DJ Reader, BJ Hill still there. You just mentioned Hendrickson and Hubbard. Drafted Miles Murphy. I am just a little lower on the Bengals defense because they don't have Myles Garrett. They don't have that level of a player on their D-line that can really take over games. But like you said, the offense kind of is going to cover up a lot of issues because they're going to score a lot of points.
DJ Reader is one of those guys we don't talk enough about.
Very underrated.
Yeah.
I'm worried about the running game of Cincinnati. Joe Mixon is a good running back, but he, often injured.
Yeah.
And then you have a rookie running back behind him.
Chris Evans, baby.
Chris Evans season.
Not a rookie.
Right there.
Well, you have
Chris Evans season.
But who's the rookie that they
got? Chase
in?
Brown on the roster, but I think it's pretty clear who's going to be the.
So and then they, P-Ron went to the Broncos. So I'm worried about the running game, and I'm actually really worried about Joe Burrow's health. And if he's already starting camp for the third time in a row, of being hurt. I just want to see him get out there, and we know he's a tough guy. We know he could take those hits, but can he stay healthy for the whole season? And that right there could derail everything in Cincinnati. But I mean, it's just crazy that Cincinnati is still up there. It doesn't matter if Cincinnati wins 6 years in a row. In my head, I still have them as like a bad team. It's crazy. It's like
still the Bengals.
Like they're still the Bengals.
It takes a little bit to get rid of that for sure. Like I've definitely seen that happen. I thought for sure you guys were going to give me a hard time because I had said the thing about fantasy with lowering Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow in certain rankings we were doing. But, like, that's me where their injuries would affect me, right? So I factor that in, like, as far as the drafting. When I'm predicting out, like, schedules and stuff, I don't love to factor in injuries to players, right? Like, I don't love to go, like, oh, well, you know, maybe this person misses 7 or 8 games or 10, because you just can't really do that.
You can't.
I just want to be clear.
It's hard to do that.
For all the viewers that didn't tune into the show, we were not upset that he knocked Jamar Chase because of a Joe Burrow injury. We were upset that he still had Cooper Kupp at like 2. And Cooper Kupp has an injury, and Jamar Chase has no injury.
Yeah, I'm sorry, that's Cooper Kupp though. So let's.
Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp plays for the 3-14 Los
exactly.
Angeles Rams. Okay?
Exactly. So. Oh man. Anyways, yeah, the offensive line. I think we talked about that a little bit, but they look better this year. Like, this starting lineup looks like a good starting lineup for an offensive line. They're probably going to be at least average. It's just there's nothing behind any of these guys. I mean, unless you're going to rely on Lyle Collins again to fill in at either tackle spot, he's not reliable to stay on the field.
Can I just add one last thing here? Did you guys hear Orlando Brown Jr. made a completely harmless comment where he said, like, it's easier to block for Joe Burrow than Patrick Mahomes? Something to that effect. I don't know for sure. But he said it essentially because he knows where Joe Burrow is going to be. Like, as an offensive lineman, if you know that your quarterback, where he's going to, like, where most likely he's going to be, isn't that easier to protect something if you know where it is?
100%.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
But I guess Chiefs fans were upset about it, and other people were saying, oh, he just says that because he's actually not as good. He's garbage. It's like, no, I think he's had a ton of success in this league. That's why he's being paid the way that he is. And he's making a comment that makes perfectly good sense. It is tough to protect something when you aren't always sure where it is.
Yeah, if I only got to push the guy to the left or to the right, knowing my quarterback's right behind me, I'm good. But if I know my quarterback's mobile and he's moving all over the place, it is going to be tougher. And you're probably going to get more penalties with a guy like Patrick Mahomes. And that's nothing bad. That's not knocking Patrick Mahomes. He's just a mobile guy moving around and making plays.
I bet if you asked Andrew Villanueva, who blocked for Ben Roethlisberger and Lamar Jackson, he'd probably say it's a little more predictable, at least, to block for Ben.
Yeah, and in the same breath, you could say that, not in Orlando Brown's case, he's pretty shut down, but in a lot of tackles places, the mobile quarterback also saves you sometimes from looking like a complete loser that just let the quarterback get murdered.
1,000%.
Anyways, let's go to Baltimore. Let's talk about these Ravens.
I don't want to
Speaking
go to
about
Baltimore.
Orlando Brown Jr. and who'd you say, Villanueva? Thank you for your service, Villanueva, to the NFL and to the country. Anyways, this team has really invested offensively.
They brought in your favorite player, Mike.
Who?
What do you mean who?
Who?
Which player?
Who?
Oh, come on.
Don't worry, I'm gonna get to it. Trust me. I'm gonna get to it, okay? Don't you worry. Anyways, they got Todd Monken. I was gonna start there at the offense coordinator, and then they said, here you go. Here's a bunch of weapons. We're gonna draft Zay Flowers in the first round. We're gonna sign OBJ, who had the greatest catch in the history of the sport. Rashad Bateman's coming back healthy. Mark Andrews. I keep bringing up Isaiah Likely just because I think he's going to continue to develop. And we've seen this team specifically be a tight end manufacturer. I mean, they just make elite tight ends there, from Pitta to Andrews. Now I think eventually to Likely, even though Andrews is still in his prime. Hopefully they're getting back a healthy Ronnie Staley. Tony did bring up earlier to me, I think off camera, about the defense, which we'll talk about. I'll let you go ahead, Tony, actually. Thoughts on the Ravens and their offseason.
My thoughts on the Ravens are that you said we know that this place has done blah, blah, blah for tight ends or whatever, like the Isaiah Likely thing. I agree that it is, a good player to highlight, right? Because if you have 2 tight ends there, Monken, who came from Georgia, had 2 draftable tight ends, right? Like at least 2, Bowers and Washington. And Washington wasn't huge with numbers, but he was still able to contribute offensively. So, like, I think that's not something that should make you shy away from either one of those players who play in fantasy. I think this team is going to be one of the most fun watches offensively, and that's just sort of kind of the case whenever Lamar Jackson is healthy. But defensively, I look around and I'm like, how did Roquan Smith go from the Bears, where he was like looking around going, where's all my help? Everybody's injured. Nobody's out here. And now he goes to the Ravens and he starts looking around and goes, wait, Marlon Humphreys just got injured and there's no more Marcus Peters out here. And I think Marcus Williams is like kind of the only other person that I'm like really, really confident in.
Kyle Hamilton?
I guess. Like, he's going to play slot. Like, that's where he was having the most success last year. I'm saying really confident. Like, I do think Kyle Hamilton will eventually be a really, really good player. But we're talking about, we know for a fact that he's like really, really good. I don't know that yet.
What about Patrick Queen?
He played, even we talked about at the beginning of the season before Roquan got there, like he seemed like somebody they were willing to cut. And then Roquan gets there and he plays a lot better. They didn't even exercise the 5th-year option on him. And maybe that's a linebacker, we don't pay that position anymore type of mentality. The defense, they got to get something from Michigan's own David Ojabo or Odafe Owe. Like, they have to get, one of these guys has to get to double-digit sacks this year for that defense. Offense electric, one of those guys has got to step up as an edge rusher, get 55 pressures this year.
Well, it seems like that's the change in Baltimore, right? Is that they're going from being a defensive team to now an offensive team.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but when you invest in a quarterback like you did in Lamar Jackson, you have to build around him. But remember, I don't know, maybe I'm just biased or whatever because it's something about, I don't know what it is about Baltimore. I always hate on Baltimore a little bit more than I hate on others. I noticed. But every time they struggled, it was because they lost players on defense and their defense started to go down. So now you're completely almost forgetting about the defense and going more offense, bringing in more offensive players than you are bringing defenses, and now you're expecting to be better. I'm not buying into it. I know Lamar Jackson is electric and he'll win games, but you're now still relying on a guy called J.K. Dobbins that we have so much potential for, but yet we've never seen him on the damn field. Like he's not even on the field right now. He's not even on the field right now.
Didn't he have like 1,000 yards one season?
Yeah, well, that's the crazy part about the offense is it's almost like a plug-and-play running back situation. J.K. Dobbins can average 6 yards. Gus Edwards can average 6 yards. They just can't stay out there. It's fucking annoying.
And it seems like it's weird. Baltimore starts to break down as the season. I don't know if it's the playing style that they have there, but towards the end of the season, their players are hurt and they're breaking down. And I hate you don't like to see that. I want to see a year where Baltimore just goes 100% and we'll see the potential. But it's just the way it's been going for the Baltimore Ravens towards the end of the season. Half their team is on the IL, and if they don't have the depth, especially on the defense, it's not gonna work out in this division.
2020, on 134 attempts, he had 805 yards for 6 yards a carry.
That's what I'm saying. Look at Gus Edwards, too.
Is that 1,000 yards?
Look at Gus Edwards.
134 attempts, Joe.
Gus Edwards did it, too. Yeah, he's proven that he can do it. He just can't stay out there on the field.
He has to stay on the damn field.
Yeah, he's got to stay on the field. That's the biggest thing.
That's why he's the best player and only played 4 games.
Since the day I picked up this damn microphone and started talking into it, I've been saying that this Ravens team is going to have a year where they're completely healthy, they catch magic in a bottle, and just shock everyone and go all the way. And I'm going to keep saying it until it happens so I sound smart, even though I predicted it 4 years in a row now. I think that there's potential again with all this offensive talent to happen this year. I know that there are some worries about the defense, and I didn't even realize how thin they were on the defense until you pointed it out, Tony. I'm really looking at it right now. They need some contributions from unexpected players, especially Marlon Humphrey going down. But I think that they can still do it, especially with MVP Lamar making a return this year.
Yeah, no, I do think that's a big helping point for them for sure.
Yeah, you think so?
All right.
but I mean, like he has to be like MVP.
Yeah,
Lamar's throwing for 6,000 yards.
A candidate.
Yeah, like I'm saying he needs to finish in that. If they're going to be the team you think that they're going to be, that Super Bowl team, he needs to be
exactly.
He's no Trace McSorley.
1, 2, or 3.
He needs to play kind of like Jalen Hurts last year.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we need from him. We need him to be healthy the entire year. Lightning in a bottle. Like I said, I think it's going to happen one time in his career. They're going to have all the stars align. It's going to happen. I believe in John Harbaugh still, obviously, to try and piece it together.
You want Lamar to have that mentality.
They got the clutch kicker.
Team on my back.
They got the clutch kicker to win the really close games that they could stay in the games. So,
well, Tucker can kick a 67-yard field goal.
He kicked a 60-yard field goal in the preseason game.
Like, it's nuts. Like,
another day at the office.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to breakout players. I'll start with mine for this division. The breakout player I have is going to be the offensive rookie of the year, Zay Flowers. It's about to go nuts. Tony, what's yours?
Love it. I'm going to go to Cleveland for my guy, Jerome Ford.
Ooh.
Like I don't know why I'm so invested in this young man having a ton of success, but he was just one of those guys in last year's draft, him and Dameon Pierce, where I just looked at him and I was like, man, if the Chargers could get one of these guys in the 4th round, and then both of them went like earlier in the 4th round. And I just thought that they were fantastic players. So I would like to see that come to fruition.
Yeah, that's a great pick, Tony. Jerome Ford for a last place Cleveland Brown team.
Well, who you got, Joe?
Well, I don't know if it's a breakout, but I like Bateman. I was going to go with the wide receiver from the Ravens. I mean, he started to get there the last year until he got hurt, but I like everything about him. And then I was going to go with everybody already knows who it is. It's George Pickens. Of course, he's going to have his great season this year. So why not give him the credit that's due over there?
He broke out pre-draft. Like he's been finding different ways to catch highlights in the preseason and everything. I like the Bateman pick though because he's somebody I really liked at Minnesota, and I thought it was going to be great. And we see the glimpses. But again, just like Joe said, get on the field.
Get on the field.
Big playmaker alert. How about Elijah Moore?
We need to make that a soundbite.
Get
on the field.
Elijah Moore breakout season, guys. Who's with me?
I've been told 1,000 times that it's going to happen.
Everyone's with me. Come on,
Where's Elijah Moore right now?
I don't know. Where is he?
Hurt?
He's hurt already? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he's hurt.
I didn't know he was hurt.
I saw him taking carries in the preseason game like a couple days ago.
Yeah, he got hurt like in practice.
Ugh, that's a killer. I didn't know that.
No.
I did not know that.
EPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones to the moon.
Michigan guy, I'm all for that.
There we go. All right, here's the winner of the AFC North last year.
Me?
Tony Tucker.
What?
By how much?
So I was off by 7 in second place, and you were off by 9, Joe. 9 total games.
And I was off by none.
You were off by 6.
Perfect again.
Off by 6, Tony. That took the dub on this one. Ironically, the only 2 divisions that we are not going over today, I won.
Well, I will say this, that I don't feel the need to check your math when I win.
That's and I will say it also that you won the total competition too again, Tony. So congrats.
We should say that for every single show because I am going to take a lot of heat for the records. Maybe not so much in this one, but like on some of these other shows where they're like 3-14 for the Rams.
Well, fire them out there, Tony. Let's hear your record prediction for this division.
Yeah, come on, champ.
I'm interested in.
Come on, champ. Let the Browns know how they're going to win this division.
Yeah, go Cleveland. Cleveland rocks.
I so badly wanted to have the Cleveland Browns win it, but they are in 4th at 9-8. I think 9-8 is the kind of record where you look around and you go, how did we, as the Cleveland Browns, make it back here? With Stefanski and all this quarterback money and everything we're playing, how did we make it to 9-8 and outside the playoffs? Baltimore, 3rd at 10-7. I just think the defense is not going to have enough to pull out some close games to stop teams from coming down and kicking game-winning field goals. Pittsburgh at 11-6 and not making the playoffs. and Cincinnati wins the division at 13-4.
This is the second 11-win team you're having not make the playoffs.
The AFC is tough.
really?
Holy shit.
Wait, really?
Oh, wait. Maybe you told me that before. I'm stupid. My bad. Sorry, guys. That was me.
No,
Anyways.
Buffalo's making it.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
Anyways.
Tune in.
Anyways. I have
No need to watch that preview show.
the
Tony
Steelers.
just gave it away.
I have the Steelers in last place.
Yeah. You
Go
better
ahead.
have them at 9-8
At
least.
9-8.
Yeah.
I have them at 9-8. Last year I called for the first losing season. I think I had 8-9 and just barely missed being right.
Yeah.
But I was wrong still. I had the Browns in third at 9-8 also. So I had both the two bottom teams in this division going 9-8, and I got Steelers via tiebreaker below them. I had the Bengals at 10-7 in second, and it's just tough, man. It's just tough. It's such a brutal schedule for them. I don't know how good or bad the defense is going to be. That's really what's going to determine it for me. And at first, unbiased opinion, I have the Ravens. I have the Ravens at 12-5, winning this division.
As soon as he said Pittsburgh in last,
I
I was
know.
like,
I was like, wait, hold up. What?
I go, we're winning this division.
I mean,
We don't have to worry about Mike
I could
in
go
this.
back over
You better
the,
be way off of me if you're confused.
I could go over the
you
last
thought I was gonna say
month how
super
many
low?
times Mike has talked about Mike Tomlin and the coach that he is and everything, and he's like, yeah, last place in this division.
Still a great coach.
It's a tough division. I
So
have
you
them
have
going 9-8 with a
Nine-
super young
you have
team.
Steelers 9-8.
Yeah, Browns 9-8, Bengals 10-7, Ravens 12-5.
So more, not as young as the Ravens with more leadership, but 5 games worse. Goodness gracious.
All right.
Told you he was a hater, everybody.
5 games? What kind of math are you doing?
Hey.
Did you go to school, Tony? 12 minus 9. Let's try that again.
For the purposes of my point, it's 5 different.
3 games.
Anyway.
I mean, if I'm off by 3 games on all these, I'm winning this thing. Oh, no, I wouldn't.
It only matters what I say, not what actually.
Oh, okay. It's not
True.
actually what the math
Yeah.
is. All right, let's hear it, Joe. Steelers better be in first.
I got the Browns going 5-12. So yeah, Browns fans, eat on that.
Wait, before you
Oh,
go,
ruff. Bark on that 5-12.
last
Brown
year he had
fans.
him winning 3 games. I remember watching the video. He had him winning 3 games last year, and he did the exact same shit. He barked into the mic.
Did I?
Yeah, I don't know if he barked, but
I don't know. If I barked, it worked.
Dog pound.
You got the Ravens in third place at 9-8, right? And then I got both teams at the top. I got the Bengals coming in second at 11-6, and the Pittsburgh Steelers win the division at 11-6.
let us know in the comments, guys, what you guys think of our predictions. Who is going to be the most accurate this year? And drop your prediction down there.
So it would put Pittsburgh at number 3 seed in mine, and Cincinnati at number 5 in the AFC.
He was trying to
Spicy.
click around and figure out how to make
Spicy.
the Raiders.
Into the division, into the playoffs
Into the
somehow,
playoffs
some
over the
way,
Bengals.
some shape.
I've told you, everybody's afraid. Like Tony said, everybody doesn't. They're talking about the Steelers. Well, the Steelers can be good, but nobody's afraid. Everybody's afraid to come out. Well, guess who's not afraid to come out?
Clearly.
Well, I shouldn't say come out because
Clearly.
people are going to cut that and be like, "Oh, he's coming out."
The last-
Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be a team this year. They went 7-2 last year down the stretch. They're going to be a great team, and they're going to win their division. Pittsburgh.
You heard it here first from the last place finisher of last year's AFC North predictions. You heard it here from Joe. Anyways, we'll see you guys in the next division preview. Appreciate you tuning in to this one. Make sure you like the video. Share this thing with some Steelers, Bengals, Browns fans, Ravens fans. Make sure that they get to see this because we have conflicting opinions. I think we all 3 have someone different winning the division. So that's going to be interesting to see who is correct come the season. Come on, Ravens flock.
Joe Breezy.
Come on, Ravens
It's
flock.
that easy.
Come on.
Pickens.